Oh man, I can't wait to do this mod showcase. Cybernetic parts, robot zombies. Oh, it's gonna be a blast. Ooh. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Cyber... This isn't the Cyberware mod. Hello everybody, I'm Martian99, and today we are doing the Waystone mod. Now if you don't know what the Waystone mod is, that's waystones that allow you to travel across your Minecraft world from one to another. So that's special items that allow you to travel to those waystones, making it easy to get out of dangerous situations in the blink of an eye. They also allow you to travel from one dimension to another, which I will show you later. So without further ado, let's get to this mod showcase. So to get started, you're going to need to craft the warp stone. Now in order to get a warp stone, you will need 4 purple dye, 4 ender pearls, 1 emerald, and you will get the warp stone. Now how the warp stone works is by holding right click, you'll be able to access any waystone you have already activated. So for instance, if I click here, I will be able to teleport to this waystone. Now note the yellow text shows that it's a global waystone. However, for others, they are normal waystones, aka waystones that you have to activate in order to use them. For global waystones, they're always activated. However, for these ones, you need to activate them yourself. You'll also notice that there are arrows that allow you to place them in any order you want. So, if I go to this one, you will note that the warp stone now has a cooldown. This cooldown starts at about 300 seconds, so be warned, you won't be able to use this for quite a while. Use it wisely. Now, when you have multiple warp stones, all of them will have the same cooldown. You may wonder why this is, but it's actually because the cooldown is tied to the player and not the warp stone. This is to make sure you don't go willy-nilly with all the warp stone, so you can't just keep teleporting to the waystone every time. So you're going to need to wait for the warp stone to cool down before you do that. However, you can still use waystones normally. You also notice that the bar has dropped all the way back to 0, but the cooldown is still continuing. This is only because you used the waystone and you teleported with it. This will only occur when you do that and not any other way, except possibly just by throwing an ender pearl or anything. So that's the warp stone. Oh no, I'm surrounded by lava. Wait, I have the warp stone. Of course. There's only one thing to do. Next up we have the waystone. Is this from a video game or something? I don't know. It's certainly in Minecraft now, so I guess that's a thing. Anyway, to craft one, you're gonna need 3 stone bricks, 1 warp stone, and yes, the cooldown is still going. I basically just cut the video there and just continued on right after. You're gonna need 3 obsidian, and you will get 1 waystone. I don't know where the crafting table is. Probably forgot to put it in there. Whatever. So how waystone works is if you place it down, you can name it whatever you want. So I'll just name it test. After that, the waystone is activated for you. Other players may have to go up to waystones and activate it themselves. And one more thing, you will be able to find waystones randomly generated in the world, usually at a village. However, if you go to the config, you will be able to change it so that waystones can generate in the world normally. So if I right click, I will be able to teleport here. And I know that noise is going to be really annoying during that mod showcase, so let me just cut to the next thing. Next up we have the return scroll. In order to craft the return scroll, you're going to need 3 paper, 1 ender pearl, 2 gold nuggets, and you will get 3 return scrolls. Now how the return scrolls work is whatever waystone you placed or activated last is what you will teleport to. So if I hold right click, I don't know what happened there, but okay. So as you noticed, I teleported straight to this waystone. Now if you shift and right click the waystone, you will notice how you have to change its name. Doing this will also make it so it sets the return scroll to that waystone. This will not work for global waystones, however, so keep that in mind. And I am not going to bother exiting for you. I'm just going to go to the next one and change the weather with the power of commands. Next up, we have the bound scroll. Now, the bound scroll is much like the return scroll, but a little different. First up, you're going to need 3 paper, 2 gold nuggets, an ender pearl, and 3 purple dye. Apparently, purple dye somehow changes how the scroll works. Guess it is magic. So how the return scroll works is, well, whichever waystone you right click with it, it will be bound to. So if I bound it to these 2, they will instantly be bound. Of course you cannot stack them after that, but if you do have multiple bound scrolls in a stack and right click a waystone, they will all be bound to it. So now I'll show you, since this one's connected to mod. It brings me to that waystone. So that's about it for this one. Let me just... there we go. Moving on. Alright, for the last item, we have the warp scroll. Now, for some reason, barely anyone had any crafting recipes for this. So it took a long time to get this one. I was about to give up on this mod, but I eventually found one. So in order to craft this, you're going to need 2 ender pearls, 2 purple dye, 2 gold nuggets, 3 paper, and you get 3 warp scrolls. Now the warp scrolls pretty much works exactly the same as the warp stone. Hold right click, and you can choose any one you want. So for instance, test. I really wish moving away from them made it a lot quieter. That noise is way too loud. Anyway, so that's how the warp scrolls work. And of course, every scroll gets used up after you use it. So keep this in mind when using the scrolls. There's one more thing I want to show you though. And that of course is otherworldly travel. Now, if I right click this waystone here, you will notice that there is one called Nether. This will bring me to another dimension. And this will cost 1 XP for it. The reason this is because waystones far away from the one you currently at will cost 1 experience. This will also include if you travel from one dimension to another. Now unfortunately I don't have any XP, so I can't activate this one. And if I go to the global one, you'll notice I still cannot activate it due to the fact that it requires 1 XP. So once I get experience, I will show you how this works. So after totally legitimately getting those and not going creative, I now have 6 levels. So if I go to the Nether, you will see the waystones will teleport you from one dimension to another, and of course, because of that, I will be able to go back. Notice that all of them cost 1 XP since I'm traveling from the Nether to another world. So I will go to the global one, and you will notice, yes, I am back, and it did cost 1 XP. So if I go to the warp stone and use it, you will notice that it doesn't cost experience. You see, only the waystones actually cost experience to travel from one waystone to another. Using things such as the warp stone or the warp scroll will not do this. So you can use these as much as you want. And that about covers the Waystone mod. I hope you enjoyed. Not too sure if you did. I mean, there were not nearly as many jokes in this one as there was the last one. But please like, subscribe, and comment. Like, seriously, comment something. I don't actually know if, like, maybe suggestions or something. I seriously need help with this stuff. Anyway, that's about it. See y'all next time. Okay, one thing I forgot to mention. When you place Waystone in creative mode, you will notice you have the option to set it as global. This will allow every player to immediately have access to this Waystone. Since it's only in creative mode, it's mostly useful for servers. There is an option, however, to make it so that you can set it as global even when in survival. Of course, you have to go to the configure settings, and that's about it. See y'all next time. And to finish this off, you now know my favorite food.